franchise producer provides upbeat update on John Wick 5 development and story timeline. It won't be like 6 months later. Producer of the franchise Basil Iwanek comments on whether John Wick 5 will go after much back and forth over whether a sequel would occur, even though the most recent film concluded with Keanu Reeves' character presumably dying. Lionsgate revealed 2 months following the release of Chapter 4 that they were developing a 5th film in an attempt to cash in on the series' high box revenue and review scores. Although they acknowledge that they are open to creating more, Reeves and director Chad Stahelski have been more circumspect about the prospect of carrying on Wick's story. They say they are unsure of how to do it. In celebration of the film's Oscar campaign, Screen Rant just to examine John Wick, Chapter 4 and forward with Basil Iwanek. The franchise producer revealed that Reeves has been pushing for a death scene in the new film and expressed confidence that a John Wick 5 could be made when asked about being approached with the idea. He also hinted at when he thought the story's timeline would pick up. View Iwanek sharing below. My favorite part about John Wick 4's conclusion, in my opinion, is that, should it signal the end of the series, it's a classy way to wrap things up. I do think there will be another John Wick film, so if there is one, I do believe, even if I'm not sure what it is yet. It does seem to me that this book will be entirely different. You could sort of blame the metaphor for these movies being 4 chapters long. There will be another novel after John Wick. John Wick 4 won't come out 6 months later. We simply aren't aware of what that is. However, we all enjoy the process and spending time together. We miss it more and more as time passes. Making these films is tremendously exhilarating, even though they are really difficult to pull off and sound insane. Not even talking to you, and the box office, mind you. I simply mean mounting it and getting ready for casting for it, that is. It is a lot of fun. Fans of the franchise have been discussing whether another film in the series is actually necessary, given that John Wick, Chapter 4 provided a supposedly definitive conclusion for the movie's titular character. By the end of the movie, Reeves' assassin had essentially come to terms with his actions, escaping the control of the High Table, exacting revenge on Lance Reddick's Charon, his friend's murder, and setting Ian McShane's Winston on a more positive road. Being buried next to his wife in New York City allowed him to be reunited with her in spirit, which seemed to provide him comfort. Reeves and Stahelski have expressed similar worries about the possible creation of a 5th film. The director of the franchise has attested that he and his star has broad notions about what they'd like to see in a follow-up, but they won't come back apart unless the narrative feels like more than just a cash grab reinvention of the character. Similar to Iwanek's earlier remarks, however, the most plausible path for Wick's comeback would be to give himself some leeway starting in Chapter 4 so that a more substantial narrative explaining his survival may be developed. Reeves' involvement with the property need not come to an end even if a John Wick 5 is never made. He and several of his franchise co-stars will make cameo appearances in the upcoming spin-off Ballerina, while the previous John Wick sequels